Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl win brought hundreds of thousands of fans to the city for the celebration parade. Meridian Rapid Defense Group, they were there too, protecting the crowds by setting Archer mobile barriers at all the cross streets on the entire 2.25-mile parade route. Here's Meridian's Brad McCabe explaining how our Archer barriers and gates provided protection not only in Seattle, but right across the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
First thing this morning, we started off about 6 a.m., and we start for about 2 hours it takes us to deploy all of 350 barriers across the city of Seattle. And that's in coordination, again, with Seattle PD. We're going in a process, leapfrogging that closure from start to finish, basically on both ends, meeting in the middle. Every setup's different, and the Super Bowls are obviously different with the influx of people on a short-term notice. The city has to do a lot of coordination and planning to preemptively have an idea of where the barriers will be placed, right? And so part of that on our side is we have to do the planning and coordination with them to say we might need to move and we might need to make changes. Yesterday, a good example, the day before the Super Bowl parade, we made 2 VSMP changes to this footprint based on variables that didn't come up until the day before the event. The alternative to a barrier like this is a water barrier, or a concrete barrier, or a bike rack. The other option you often see is squad cars from police or public works vehicles parked in tandem across the roads. The big vulnerability in those instances is the sidewalks, or the ability for a vehicle to sneak through because they're not intended for vehicle mitigation. We have a real close relationship that's formed over several years with Seattle PD. We not only do their special events, we do all of the Lumen Field events. That means Seahawks, special concerts, all those special events. We deploy all those barriers for them, owned barriers and rented barriers. Both of those is part of our relationship with the city of Seattle. Furthermore, we have a relationship where every department in the city of Seattle is able to order our barriers and rent the barriers depending on their event and their closure needs. Really good feedback, honestly, from the city of Seattle especially. They have a lot of hills, a lot of undulating surfaces, max tracks, train tracks with cobblestones. All of those variables, our barriers do excellent, and they really, really like our barriers because they allow them to have less law enforcement and first emergency services responders on site and have more barriers, and that's a better cost savings for them. So once the parade's over, this will all be packed up by the end of the day today. Nothing will be left on the streets of Seattle. Everything, all 350 barriers, taken back to our storage facility. From there, they'll be shipped off.
In Seattle and everywhere in between, Meridian, keeping people, communities, and places safer.